I still have Luka. He's been smiling throughout this series.
There will be a Game 7. Welcome to the Mind of Basketball Podcast, also known as M.O.B Podcast, NBA Playoff Edition. I'm Evan.
I'm Luka.
And this is our basketball podcast. We recap, break down, and analyze players and teams from the previous games from the previous day. Well, if you said I am Luka, I should have said I am Kawhi, because Kawhi Leonard showed up when you needed him. In a win or go home, when you need a two-time finals MVP to show up, he did just that. Kawhi Leonard in the biggest game of the Clippers season balled out.
Yeah.
And it was mostly in that second half. My goodness, what a performance by Kawhi Leonard last night.
Yeah, man.
5 on the night. I mean, just giving anybody who was guarding him buckets. Dorian Finney-Smith, buckets. Maxi Kleber, buckets. Luka, buckets.
Anybody who's guarding him, buckets.
Yeah. LA our way.
Yeah.
They got to represent LA now because the other team is gone.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're right. The other team is gone, and yeah, man, Kawhi Leonard showed up in the do-or-die game. The pressure's all on them, because if they lose, it's over for them, and the Clippers, and you know how it's going to be. If he's losing for the second straight time in a row, not making it into the finals, anything, people are going to be on the Clippers already. So, and he showed up, but hey, and he showed up big time. He showed why he is who he is. And Rondo looked at him and said, they say you was better than Braun.
Well, Braun didn't drop 45 in his game 6, so
you better get on my face.
Oh man, but can you?
But yeah, man, he just looked amazing. He just took over the game. ISO, step back 3. Oh my God, it was looking beautiful. But hey, we got to give some credit because before he got on his role, Bobby Shmurda came out of nowhere.
Reggie Jackson, yes, 2 straight back-to-back great games for Reggie.
Yeah,
and that's what they needed that another performance from him. In the last game, the difference with the last game with his performance and that loss, he was kind of the main guy.
Yes.
And you can't, with the Clippers team, when you have Paul George, Kawhi, you can't have him being the best player.
Yeah.
So in the Clippers, the Mavericks kind of isolated them. They wanted him to do that again.
Yeah.
Because no matter how great Reggie Jackson, no matter how good of a basketball player Reggie Jackson is, no matter how great a performance he puts up, he can't beat the Mavericks. Kawhi and PG can beat the Mavericks.
Exactly.
So they wanted to do that again. Fortunately, that didn't last because now you have Reggie Jackson going off, and you have Kawhi Leonard going off.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, give him his credit. He really played great again.
Yeah, he did. Reggie Jackson came up big time, and going back to Kawhi, his that late defense that he played, man. Oh my gosh, the switching, staying on Luka. Well, nobody could guard Luka. Let's just be honest. Nobody.
Yes, but Luka, he wasn't as effective in this game. He did have a good game, but he wasn't as effective that we saw him in the series.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was just making weird decisions that he would usually make the right decisions on. Like, it wasn't bad decisions. It was just weird decisions. Like, he has an open lane. He would still try to find a way to make a pass, even though he has the wide open layup or something like that. You know what I mean? He created space, so he dropped Nicholas Batum.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I saw it, but
he didn't pull it. It was just like he was making weird decisions. Like, he just didn't. Like, he was trying to defer more. I don't know. But you always say, just like how doing too much of something could always usually be bad, and doing too much deterring could always usually be bad, because when you have things in which that could put your team closer into this game, He actually didn't do it, which was surprising because he could have converted on a lot.
Yeah, but that's true. But also, I mean, he tried to make the right passes, and can't be all on him because the Mavericks late just couldn't hit their 3-point shots.
Yeah,
Something that they was doing all great for that most part of the game.
yeah,
Especially in that third quarter. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith and Tim Hardaway, they were great.
yeah. Especially Tim Hardaway, man.
Yeah, he was not down. He was not down.
Yeah,
Consistently being the second best player in this series for the Mavericks.
yeah. What about Porzingis?
Because Porzingis, I don't know, but
New York Diva.
But yeah, I mean, those guys, they were stepping up. They played great, but then when it got late and when Kawhi was going off, Luka tried to kick it out to Cleaver, Vinny Smith, Tim Hardaway. They just couldn't hit their shots late when they needed them to.
Yeah. And that's credit to the Clippers defense with trying to charge in on Luka. But when Luka got a one-on-one isolation again, he had good space. But yeah, just like what you said, he tried to find others. They could have converted. But I feel like there was times where he could have did it his damn self. I don't know why he wasn't doing it his damn self. And he had space. And we know that he was gonna make it. Come on now. We know he was gonna make it. It's Luka. It's Luka magic. He's been doing it with a smile on his face this whole series.
Well, now it's claw magic. Yeah. Kawhi magic. Oh man, yeah. I mean, this was just you gotta give props to this Clippers team coming out again. Their defense late game, you know, Kawhi Leonard, Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, Paul George might have not did much in the scoring category because he was inefficient, but he still did big. Like he did all the other little things. He put up a double-double, and you got to give him credit for that. He drew fouls when he needed to draw fouls, like in terms of him getting himself to the line, and he got big time rebounds. He did the defensive end. He was being a playmaker. Like even though in scoring wise he was looking like Pandemic P and other impacts of the game or aspects of the game, he was looking like the playoff P that we want to see.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that point up. Like he was really good in terms of everything else around the scoring category because it wasn't as great in scoring, and I really do hate sometimes when he settles.
Yeah,
but defensively and definitely on the rebounding side, it was big time for them. Yeah, and that helped them in this win. But just for the Mavericks, yeah, I mean the main reason why they lost was a mix of Luka kind of sometimes being too passive. Yeah. And also the Mavericks just not hitting their shots late.
Exactly.
So yeah, there will be a game 7 as the Clippers win big due to Kawhi's amazing 45-point performance to win game 6 and force a game 7 going to Los Angeles. Another and an interesting fact about this series for you, go on. All road teams won for 6 games straight. That is the first time that has happened in NBA history in a playoff series. Where all road teams 6 games straight has won.
Well, so you know what that means. You know what that means.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna base it off of that.
Look at the dog.
I'm not gonna base it off of that. Who's gonna win game 7? But I'm just going to say that clearly, home court has not had an effect on either teams.
Oh, Luka, magic.
But hey, we'll see what happens. Game 7.
Oh, now we know what's gonna happen.
all I have to see, I was about to say, I know what happened the last time Kawhi had a game 7, but then I forgot the game 7 in Denver last year, so never mind. I was referring to the game 7 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But now, never mind. Never mind. Oh man. But yeah, game 7 should be very, very interesting. Last playoff series of the first round.
Yeah, in the first ever game 7 in the playoffs. For
this year. So far, yeah. For this playoff run. Before we get into the news, because there is some news.
Mhm.
I want to, or should we go into the news first and then go over what I was gonna say?
Do you,
Let's
man?
go. Let's go over the news first. Yeah, let's go over the news first. All right, so news just a day after the Blazers lost to the Denver Nuggets, almost as if I kind of knew what was happening because I talked about this. The Portland Trail Blazers decide to part ways with head coach Terry Stotts.
Wow.
I mean, I kind of predicted this.
Yes.
I just didn't see he kind of peaked. There was
Yep.
nowhere for him. How can the Blazers improve as him as a head coach? And that's no really slight on him. Just
Yeah.
sometimes you just gotta move on. He's been a head coach for the Blazers for a while now.
Yeah.
I think we've seen all that we is to see. It's time to move on. If you want to win a championship, you can't be content.
Exactly. Well, yeah, you said it right there, man. He maximized his potential with the team, and he did a lot because he's been with them since 2011, 2012. I know it's been that
It's,
long. I know it had to be
hold
that
on,
long.
hold on. Let me. I'm keep going. I'm
It
looking
had to
up.
be that long, but the fact that, but yeah, he maximized potential up in Portland, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he did everything he can. The furthest he reached was the Western Conference Finals, but now it just got to see they parted ways with him. What coaches are up on the line that could do better than what he did? That's my question. Cause
Hmm.
who's on the line? Like Jason Kidd's an assistant coach for the Lakers. But yeah, Jason Kidd is an assistant coach for the Lakers. For the Lakers, he's a really good coach. I feel like he's one of those basketball minds that could push a team into a championship situation. In my opinion, he has one with the Lakers. He did a lot with the Bucks, even though they didn't get anywhere because Giannis was still in development. But and he went somewhere with Brooklyn a little bit. So you know what I mean. I feel like you got to get the right person for situations like these. You know what I mean? You can't just get anybody now. You got rid of Terry Stotts for a reason. What is going to be the change? It better be something good.
Yeah, I agree. But point you have to make that change to me because you have to try at least.
Yeah.
You had to take those risks.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes you might be even worse. So
Sorry about
sometimes things like that just happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, and by the way, 9 seasons.
9 seasons. Okay.
Yep, he's there for a long time, 9 seasons.
Yeah.
As for him, I have faith that he's gonna get another job, whether that's an assistant coach or a head coach.
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely see he can be a head coach in the league.
Yeah.
He's a playoff contender for 9 straight years. So I mean, I'm not gonna be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. He's a good caliber coach.
Mhm.
I feel like he can play. He can do great in the league, help another team out. So I have faith that he's gonna get another job somewhere.
And it doesn't have to be a head coaching job. It could
Yeah,
be
as I
an
said,
assistant
assistant
coach.
coach.
Yeah, it could be any kind of coaching or just just helping. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Coordinator, something like that. He doesn't have to be just a head coach. His mind is too good just to be stuck on just head coach. He could do anything else for a team.
yep. So good luck to Terry Stotts in his future, whatever team he chooses to sign, or team chooses to pick him up, and we'll keep an eye on the Blazers, who they will have as their new coach.
Yeah.
And Terry Stotts, hey, um, Boston just recently opened up.
Oh yeah. I just realized that. Yeah.
Hey, maybe. We'll see what happens there. But all right, I wanted to do, Ja. The second round is going to start for tonight and ongoing.
Yeah.
Uh, there has been some predictions that we have gotten wrong, specifically.
Yes.
So that means we kind of had to review this playoff series for the second round.
Go on, boss.
So that being said, let's go to the West first. We can't predict the Jazz against the Clippers or the Mavericks because that's not done yet. But we can predict the Nuggets and the Suns. I had the Nuggets going in here. You had the Blazers, but we both had the Lakers. I mean, I had the Lakers winning the chip. Now I look like a fool. But yeah, I gotta pick a new finals team. I gotta pick a new championship, a new champion.
Well, I'm lucky because I don't got to do that.
No, you don't. But yeah, this series, the Nuggets and the Suns, I think it's gonna be very, very entertaining.
Yeah,
you got two young teams.
Yeah. Now I said very offensive.
Yes, very offensive. You got two young teams, two very competitive teams. Both had, well, one, the Suns are inexperienced, but yet experienced at the same time. Chris Paul, Jay Crowder. I mean, those are big. And even though they have inexperience, it didn't feel like that when they were playing the Lakers. Didn't feel like that at all.
Yeah.
It felt like, they were comfortable. They were calm. They played collective. They had great chemistry and all of that. As for the Nuggets, yeah, they're young, but I mean, they've been here. Like, they've been in the playoffs. They've been in big games. Games like 4 Game 7s, I think. Yep, 4 Game 7s.
Yeah.
They've recently been to the West Conference Finals. Obviously, they don't have Jamal Murray, but that has not stopped them.
No,
Not one bit. They had just kept turning, maybe even turned it up. Michael Porter Jr. has been great. I think he's going to continue being great in this series. Porter Jr., Campazzo, he's gonna have to wreak havoc and be annoying defensively.
Yeah.
Wants to get a chance. I don't think anybody on that team is gonna stop Devin Booker. I really don't. I think if a double team with him, Campazzo, and other guys on the team, I maybe get the ball out of his hands. It's up to Mike Malone to create a strategy.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen. But the key matchup in this series to me is going to be Ayton and Jokic.
Yes.
I think that's the key one-on-one matchup. Because obviously Jokic is going to be the MVP, or at least I think he's going to be the MVP. I think everybody knows that too. He can be dominant in so many ways. Scoring, rebounding, and passing.
Yeah.
And Ayton, he played great against AD when AD was playing. He played fantastic throughout the entire series.
Exactly.
In terms of his scoring and his rebounding. So I want to see how he's going to be able to match up with Jokic.
Well, let's be honest, talking about Ayton here. Ayton is a great big talent. But let's be honest, this is technically his best stretch of the season so far has came in the postseason. You know what I mean? Like I felt like out of all the performances throughout this season and everything, this has the series against the Lakers has been his best performance throughout the whole season. And he showed big and he's shown the potential that we love to see from him. And yes, you're right. The number one matchup has to be that big man matchup. It's a young duel between two young guys, a possible MVP who, well, we could just call him the MVP, let's be honest. But yeah. And you talk about a rising star. But these are two young guys. But the thing is, the difference is obviously just like what you said. One has been here multiple times as their lead guy and has suffered through failures and has at times pushed them over the hump, but has suffered through failures, in which he knows time and time again that he knows how it is, or he knows how these times get, and he's going to find a way to will his team. While the other is like, their third star, who is like, just even though he has had a great series again, especially against AD, like AD's the best big in the game. He doesn't truly know how tougher it gets as it gets deep. So that's going to be an intriguing matchup to look at. But my thing is a little bit a weird matchup with me though is more CP3 versus Campazzo though, because those are
along with Monty Morris.
Yeah, along
well,
with
depending on where they put him at, yeah.
Yeah, but like because as intelligent and as a legendary of a point guard Chris Paul is, we know he is also pesky and annoying himself as a way to be willing to do anything. So between him and Compazzo, in terms of defense and everything, it's going to be amazing what kind of trying to tricks or trades or how to use their IQ in a way to try to help out their team in certain kind of ways.
Mm-hmm. I also want to see if Monty Morris can do the same things that he did in Portland.
Yes.
Against the Suns. Because the Suns are a better defensive team than Portland is.
Yeah.
Is that high screen and roll with him and Jokic going to work?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's going to be interesting the matchups between Monty Morris and Mike Malone in terms of their coaching strategy. Because how are they going to how is Monty Williams going to stop that high screen and roll?
You said Monte Morris. I think you meant Monty Williams.
I said Monty Williams. Sorry.
Yeah.
How is Monty Williams going to stop that high screen and roll with Monty Morris and Nikola Jokic?
Yeah.
How is he going to game plan for Michael Porter Jr.? How is he going to game plan for Jokic? Obviously.
Yeah.
And then vice versa, Mike Malone. How is he going to game plan Devin Booker? How is he going to game plan for the shooting of the Suns?
Yeah.
You know, in that kind of fast-paced action that they got, but we saw heavily in that Lakers series.
Exactly.
It's going to be a really, really interesting series. I'm going to love it. But score predictions, Ja. Who you got?
I got the Suns in 7.
You got the Suns in 7, the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. Chris Paul, time to shine.
And why you got them?
Well, I feel like even though the Nuggets are experienced and stuff like that, and of course they got Jokic and everything, I feel like Chris Paul's the difference maker here, though, in my opinion. I really feel like his intelligence and everything in all the trials and tribulations and stuff like that, and this team and his chemistry, their chemistry has been great. It's like as if even though this is their first time here, it feels like as if they've been here in 10 years. You know what was interesting? The last time the Suns were in the playoffs, you know what happened? They got eliminated by what team? They got eliminated by the Lakers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot. I forgot for a second.
Yeah,
yep, they got eliminated by the Lakers. Steve Nash was hurt.
And then a decade later,
had to do that.
Yep. And then a decade later, what happens?
They eliminate
back in the same spot, but yet it's the opposite way around. Yep, they eliminate them in 6, and
AD got hurt. I mean,
yeah, and now
got hurt.
Yeah, and I feel like with this team, even though it's a little bit of experience or it's a sample size, they have the confidence and the juice, and I feel like Chris Paul is going to take them somewhere. That's what I really feel.
And for that reason, along with them being a better defensive team than Portland,
Denver.
Yeah, and I mean Portland, like in terms of.
Oh, okay,
yeah, and Denver, obviously, them being able to match up with Denver better, or for Denver for worse. I got the Suns as well. I got the Suns in 6. I really think they can do their thing, and yeah, even though they have inexperience, I really don't see that. You don't see that when you watch them play.
Yeah,
you don't see them making costly mistakes. You don't see them turning the ball over, shot clock violation. Things that inexperienced teams in the playoffs usually do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I didn't see that at all in the Lakers series.
Yeah.
So yeah, Suns in 6. But I'm excited for that series. We'll see what happens. Going to the Eastern Conference. Philadelphia 76ers, the number 1 seed, going up against, the Atlanta Hawks, the number 5 seed. We both had the Knicks winning that series, but Hawks prevailed, and so got to revise this one in respect for the Hawks. Now, for this series, it's going to be interesting because Embiid, he's battling an injury right now. We don't know how healthy he's going to be. I don't even know if he's going to play game 1. So that's going to be that's a big issue. That's a big issue because we saw how dominant Clint Capella can be. So his rebounding, shot blocking.
Yeah.
And even if Embiid was there, I think it's still going to be a tough challenge.
Yeah.
So I got to see how healthy he is.
Well,
Because, like I said, Clint Capella has been great. Trae Young has been absolutely fantastic, even though the Knicks are a great defensive team, yes.
mhm.
I think the Sixers might have better defensive players
I agree with that for sure.
because I think Simmons and the rest of the Sixers
Mhm.
are going to maybe strategize against Trae Young better. Because what was the problem with Trae Young against the Knicks? It was a screen. He would either lob it to Capella, kick it to the corner, kick it to Capella, who kicks it to the corner, or it gets an easy floater.
Yeah.
And that was most of these series. That's how the Hawks got their buckets. A lot of the series, and it was a nightmare as a Knicks fan. So with the Sixers, I mean, I think Doc Rivers is going to have a better game plan for that.
Yes.
I
And
think the
Ben
Sixers,
Simmons.
yes, and Sixers individually are just better defensively.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be as effective.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, Ben Simmons, man, a potential defensive player of the year candidate. Like, Trae Young has to go against that. Trae Young is still going to get his because he's a great offensive player, but he got to deal with the fact of a dude who's 6'10" howling him, like really hounding him. 6'10" versus 6'2". Of
Mm,
course, Trae Young, he could blow by. He got the handle, of course, to go crazy. But we're talking about Ben Simmons here. Ben Simmons, he loves to get out defensively, and you know what he could do offensively when he's aggressive, or what he could do in a playmaking end when he decides to say, "Hey, let me stop like being laid back, nonchalant, and like
mm.
oh, we know how it could be." And what you said, Nate McMillan is a great coach, and it's going to come to a culture strategy. But I feel like Doc Rivers is.
Keep going.
I feel like Doc Rivers is the better coach here and stuff like that. And I feel like he has gotten his team to see their true potential, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion. Nate McMillan has gotten the Hawks to get better, but I don't know if they're at their potential just yet. I feel like Doc has made the Sixers see their full potential, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you in that. But another interesting thing is, remember, the Knicks were a great 3-point shooting team.
Mhm.
The Hawks did a great job shutting that down. And
Yeah.
the Hawks are a great 3-point shooting team. So they counteracted against the Knicks with their defense on their 3-point shooting, and they got their threes up.
Yeah. But my thing is though, the Sixers have just like how individually offensively from the three, the Sixers just have better shooters.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
All right about that. And I think that point that you made is going to be a problem as well.
Yeah.
Also, they have more guys that can create their own shot. Well, Tobias Harris can create his own shot,
I forgot all about Tobias for a second.
and he can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons can be very aggressive, finishing in the paint when he needs to. He's also an amazing playmaker,
Yeah.
and it's just Embiid.
Yeah.
I think he's going to play in this series. I really believe that,
Yes, he is.
and I think that is he going to be dominant, or are the Hawks going to have a great defensive plan for him? Because you can't. It's not like Julius Randle. It's completely different. Completely different.
10 affinity times different. Infinity.
Because not only is Embiid the better player, Embiid has a different play style. Also, six have better shooters.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to be the problem for the Hawks, and that's what they're going to have to deal with. And I don't think they can deal with the Sixers. All in all, they just have a better team. They have better chemistry. They have better players than what they faced in the previous round. So with that being said, I'm going with the Sixers in 5. If Embiid is healthy,
Yeah.
got to put that up there.
Let me tell you something. Look, to keep it simple, period like this, Nobody's Embiid injured. Embiid at 70-80%. Nobody's stopping Embiid. Embiid the only person who stop. No, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. No. Look at if Gobert can't stop Embiid, what makes you think that he's going to stop him? You see, no answer. No answer.
Capella's underrated.
Yeah, Capella is underrated, but I don't see him stopping Embiid. I don't see no big stopping.
No,
him.
yeah, I don't see him stopping it.
So like, you know what I mean? That's just the breaking point there. Like, you know, it's just Embiid, because Embiid is the one thing that's just like, you know, that's breaking this off. Like, you know, like, and I agree with you. I had the Sixers in 5 also, but Embiid is like my main reason why, because nobody's gonna be able to stop Embiid. And when you got that, along with the shooters, the spacing, the fact that Penn Simmons is one of the best point guards in the A himself, it's like all the advantages is going their way.
Yep. Should be a very, very entertaining series. I think it's going to be high scoring in terms of the shooters that both teams have and the players that both teams have, and we'll see what happens. Maybe the Hawks can shock us.
Yeah.
Who knows? And lastly, certainly not least, in the game for tonight, game 1, the Milwaukee Bucks, the number 3 seed, going up against number 2 seed, Big 3 Brooklyn Nets. Oh, this is a great test for the Nets.
Yes.
Because, you know, the problem with them is defense. Mm-hmm. And defense in the paint. And the Bucks have Giannis. That is a problem.
Yeah.
That is a big problem. Not only do they have Giannis, when they have Bryn Forbes shooting that thing.
JB's kryptonite.
You stop this.
Hey, you brought up the name.
You need to stop disrespecting Jimmy Butler. Stop that.
I'm just saying, you brought up the name. I was just saying it came up. You should never brought up the name. You can't just say the shooters that they have, like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know,
Jimmy is still a dog. I don't care what anybody says. That man is still a dog.
He's still a legend. I respect Jimmy. Jimmy's a Hall of Famer. Yes, he might not be valid, but he's a Hall of Famer. But yet he got.
Anyway, when they got people that can create their own shot and play make, like Drew Holiday, create their own shot like Middleton, that's going to be a real problem defensively for the Nets.
Yeah.
And also the Bucks can turn up defensively as well. When they turn up defensively, yeah, they can get it going offensively. Yeah, they do get it going. We've seen it in the Heat series. They really did.
Yes.
And with Brook Lopez playing more in the low post, I don't think the Nets is going to stop anybody in the paint. But the big problem, and we all know, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. I don't think there really needs to be further explanation for that. The reasons for what I just said about the Bucks is why I have them winning some games. But the reason why I just mentioned for the Nets is why I have them winning this series. And that's why I have the Nets in 6.
Because, yeah, I was about to say, because you a little bit earlier, you made a statement saying how, like, you know, and the Bucks got Giannis. Well, I say, yo, just know, well, Brooklyn got KD. And, like, you know, if you and Kyrie and Harden.
And yes.
Yeah. And Darren Williams. But it's like, you know what I mean? But, like, you know, I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? It's just like
KD. I mean, there's really we don't even have to mention the game plan of the Nets or the rest of the team.
Let me say, obviously, you already know who I'm going to choose because I have them win the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's just be straight up honest. I will not, and I think you could agree with me on this a little bit. I will not be shocked if the Bucks do end up winning. Because you don't want to know why? It's just come down to one main thing. We say this all the time. It's like they're not going to stop you defensively, and you can't stop them defensively. But the Bucks is a perfect blend of a team in which they could possibly keep up with this Nets team because of the fact of Drew Holiday's playmaking, the 3-point shooting, just Giannis. Like, I need to emphasize, I need just Giannis. I feel like they could make it into a fast-paced, high-scoring game with the Nets. You know what I mean? And with all of that going, and along with the fact that most importantly, they have something that the Nets don't. Well, that the Nets could have if they put their effort, because defense just takes effort, but the Bucks just have better defensive players. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm telling you right now, I got the Nets, but yet I feel like this is going to a game 7. And when it goes to a game 7, if it happens to swing the way that I don't want it to swing, I can't be surprised because of that, because of those things right there, because of they could possibly keep up with them offensively, and if they just, I can't even say it nonchalantly because it's still KD, Kyrie, and Harden, but it's like, you know, if they could try to find some way to stay disciplined defensively against those guys, then this could be Milwaukee's opportunity to make it over the hump.
But also, I want to say the X factors for the Nets in this series are going to be their shooters.
Yeah,
guys like Joe Harris. You know the Bucks can shoot, and when all the attention is on the big 3, they got to hit their shots.
Yeah,
they got to hit their shots. Like Joe Harris, but not just even shooters, just the rest of the team. Joe Harris, Blake Griffin, Bruce Brown. I mean, these guys, they got to step up. They got to play good. They got to play well.
Dinwiddie, where you at?
They got to play well because, in that half-court setting, it gets more defensive in the half-court setting, especially the more further you go.
Yeah.
So I feel like those guys do have to step up. But yeah, KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. I mean, come on, it's just too much. But if the Bucks do have a chance, it's those reasons that you said.
Yeah.
That is the way the Bucks can win this series. But hey, I would be surprised. I'm not gonna say very surprised, but I will be surprised if the Bucks do pull it off. But it wouldn't be the craziest thing I've seen in the NBA. So anything can happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of this series, I got the Nets in 6. You got the Nets in 7. But what do you have for game 1? In the predictions for 7:30 TNT in the Barclays Center, who do you have?
Barclays Center. I gotta go with the gang. I gotta go with the gang. It gotta be the Nets all the way. Orange and blue skies just turn into black and white and gray skies. That's all I gotta say.
That's not happening. That's not happening. Nobody. Even though I'm rocking black and white, it's not what it looked like. Yeah, even though I'm rocking, black and white, it's not what it looks like. Yeah, I got the Nets, I guess. In this game 1. It should be a very entertaining game, though. I'm looking forward to it. I want the upset. As an NBA fan and as a Knicks fan, I love it.
Yeah.
I really do want the upset.
It's crazy how when the Hawks eliminated the Knicks, how did you see that photo of them singing Trae Young, A Quiet Place, and then they had Trae Young doing this, and then they said New York City, A Quiet Place, because we know damn well New York City will never be a quiet place. But then they forgot we got the Nuts, you know what I mean?
Listen, the only people that want the Nets to win the championship are in Newark.
Well, the Meadowlands have
and some people in Brooklyn. Come on, man. I'm sorry. That's what the truth. Well, that's the truth.
Well, all I gotta say is the Meadowlands have taken over New York City. Tri-state area, be ready.
I mean, come on, man. Yeah, the Nets are kind of enemies for the season, for the rest of the league. But yeah, those are our predictions. Start of the second round tonight, 7:30 on TNT. As we mentioned, the Bucks and the Nets. We both have the Nets in this game. But all right, I think it's time to wrap things up, Ja. Final thoughts. Since I had the Lakers winning it all, yeah, that went terribly wrong. I gotta kind of revise a little bit. Who I got going to the finals and who I got winning it all. I won't go as extensively as we did in the previous, going over the second round. But let's just say for the Western Conference, I mean, all in all, what's a dark horse mean? Dark horse means that when all things go wrong,
Everything goes right for them.
yeah. And I think all things are about to go wrong. So, or all things have went wrong in terms of my championship contenders. So, I got the Phoenix Suns going to the NBA Finals.
I like that. I like that.
Who do you have going to the NBA Finals for the Western Conference since the Lakers are out?
Whew. Shoot. I feel like who can I say? Can I give like a little snippet into like round 3 a little bit, and what, in my opinion, with that, I feel like conference finals in a way.
I know, yeah. Okay.
I would say it's going to be between the Suns and the Jazz. The Suns and the Jazz, and it's crazy because I'm not having no more faith in the Clippers after what they did.
Yeah, I know, because you had the Clippers going to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, embarrassing. Suns and the Jazz, but I feel like the Suns are going to make it. So yeah, I do got them coming out the West.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it's gonna happen. But yeah, I got the Nets winning it all. What a surprise, yeah. Nobody wants them to win. Listen, nobody wants the Nets to win. Nobody wants the Nets to win. All right.
I want to see them win because of the fact that like some of my favorite players are in there. Well, not some, like one of my favorite players are in there.
Sure. I mean, I don't hate them individually. No, I have no problem with KD, Kyrie, James, or any of the Nets. But come on, man. No, too predictable.
Really?
One, it's either too predictable. For these are the reasons why people don't want the Nets to win. Either too predictable, super team, the other team in New York. I mean, that's really what it is. That's what it comes down to. For me, I don't like predictability.
Well, you know, Nets fans are not true New Yorkers.
Also, I'm a Knicks fan. Well,
you know that Nets fans are true New Yorkers because they didn't curse at Jason Tatum like how they cursed at Trae Young. Like, you know what I mean? They want if they were true New Yorkers, they wouldn't have cursed at Jason Tatum. Trust me.
Yeah, I know. But listen, we do it and we get the hate. That's fine. You telling me those Mavericks fans then wasn't thinking that in their mind every time they booed Rondo? That's BS. That's BS. They had that in their mind. They just didn't say it.
Yeah. I don't.
But yeah, I got the Nets winning it all, beating the Suns in 6.
Yeah.
But maybe the Bucks can spoil it all. Maybe the Bucks can spoil it all. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching today's podcast. Make sure to tune into tomorrow's podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, support channel, give us feedback, all that good stuff.
Also, follow our IG and our TikTok down in the description below.
Yes. And once again, I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
And this is Mind the Basketball Podcast.
Playoff edition.
Playoff edition.